This is a Suboptimal podcast. Check out our suboptimal content at suboptimal.co.
Welcome to episode 2 of the NighCast, Streaming and Relationships with CyborgSuzy. We've been married for a little bit over 11 years, and I hope to bring some lessons learned that we have done over this first year of me being a streamer, content creator, and maybe this is something we can do, and she'll have some points to kind of point out at me that I have no idea that I've been doing wrong. So, hi, honey.
Hey.
So, my first point here is talk to your significant other about your dream. So, when I came to you about a year ago saying, hey, I want to stream, what did you think at the time?
I thought I was thinking, how different is this going to be compared to just you playing games as a hobby? When you're talking about that, you don't know what it's actually going to entail until you've already been doing it for weeks or even months.
Mm-hmm.
And then it sort of sinks in what this actually means. Which is different from a hobby. It's more like a part-time job. So you have a full-time job and then you come home to your part-time job, and just like other people who work 2 jobs, it's work-life balance, right?
Yeah. So when I started this, I mean, I didn't really think about it more than a hobby at the first. It's kind of developed into more than a hobby, more of an obsession at this point. Just really, I mean, this is like the dream, what I want to do, and I want to try to take it as far as I can go, and that's why I started the podcast, and I've started uploading to YouTube and working on my social media habits, and you've helped me with that. You've been helping me with my social media habits. I've talked to you about my dreams there.
I was your official social media consultant for a while there.
You still are. You're still my social media consultant.
Oh, but you don't listen to me anymore. You've got it all figured out. So
don't have it all figured out
anymore.
I don't have it all figured out. When I have 1 million people following me on social media, that's when we'll say we have it all figured out.
And that's when my paycheck comes in, right?
Yes, exactly.
Awesome.
So one of the things that I think I've gotten questions in streams before of like, how do I talk to my significant other? How do I let them know that I want to stream and want to do this? What could I have done better when I started talking to you? Is there something like information wise I could have brought to you? Or did I
think the main thing was just that I don't think even you knew exactly what your goals were. You had sort of more vague ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is hard to plan when you don't know exactly what you're shooting for.
Yeah.
So trying, and maybe it's hard to plan that sometimes. It's good to stay flexible, but knowing more detail what you actually want before you start asking for all of this time, and that would be helpful.
Well, yeah. But
we figured it out as we went along. So far, it's been fine.
Yeah, that's. I'm going to skip ahead on one point, since we're kind of talking about that. Is when we first started out, I didn't know what the time it took to actually like research a stream, how to edit a podcast, and how to upload VODs afterwards, and how to edit out the clips and get the clips up and do all that, and what the time involvement was to do all of this. And so one of the things that we've worked on over time has been to set a very set schedule.
Right.
So when I first started, my schedule was pretty much the weekend evenings, and then I would be off on like the nights that I was traveling to work the next day, if I remember right. Because at the time I was driving an hour and a half to work on 2 days a week, and those days.
That's right. You did start when you were still.
Yeah. So when I was still traveling for work,
a really big commute.
Yeah. So that's when I had my schedule around was the commute nights. So the night before my commute, because I had to get up at 4 a.m., I would not stream those nights. And that didn't really lead to having a good, time with you. That
right,
was
because it took up a lot of your weekend time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I think what we've learned is that we were missing each other. I mean, you told me, I'm missing you. Where are you? Even though I'm here in the house and you could see me, you could come here. I was not present.
Right. And the other problem was you were always streaming in the evenings, which any time for us to be alone after the kids gone to bed was pretty much out the window. And that did not work at all. That was the biggest thing was when we finally carved out those 2 essentially date nights every week. Because otherwise you come home, you kiss the kid goodnight after dinner, and then you disappear into the basement. And without having, a set date night, I really wouldn't see you very much.
Yeah.
Much better now.
Yeah. And so what we did is we sat down and discussed, I want to push this forward. I want to spend as much time on it, but I want to spend time with you. I have to spend time with you. I have to get off the stream and I have to go do, time with the kid. I have to go do my work and my sometimes house chores. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah. A sore subject, always.
Yeah.
With roommates and with significant others, always.
Yes. But
I think the key point is you did talk to me. Talking, communication.
We learned that not
C-word.
talking was the issue. Talking is the way to make the solution. So
you tried to just make a verb, solutionize.
Solutionize?
I heard you trying to make it.
Maybe my brain is a little tired.
See, this is the kind of telepathy that happens after 15 years. Saying.
We can finish each other's sandwiches. But yeah, so what we did was we sat down and we talked about how to put our time together so that way I disconnected from the stream, I disconnected from content creation, and I spent the time with you, with not just you, but with the kiddo and here at home. And so now my schedule will be Sunday night through Thursday, and that's how it's been for the last
months.
6 months.
I think that started. I mean,
that started after my new job, and I've been there 7 months.
Right, it was before she started kindergarten. And that was the other thing. When you started, she was home all the time.
Yeah.
So I was going a little nuts. I was all kid all the time and no husband for a while.
And I wasn't communicating. I was really bad at it. And this is where hopefully this is the lesson learned from this is don't do what we did. Communicate. Do what we did after
the
6
point
months.
Is we did though.
do what we did after 6 months.
I think
fast forward 6 months into what we did.
We're still better than average couples, I think. My experience talking to lots of friends. But
yep.
Yeah, we have a better routine now.
Yes.
That is workable. And the kiddo is in school. So that makes a difference too.
That is true.
She also goes to bed easier. I gotta say that. She's exhausted, so.
Quick, into bed. Go.
Oh, and also it's important that you do have some set chores. Like, you almost always, you're in charge of bath time and bedtime, which are things I hate.
And I tried to do laundry. You remind me on it, but I always try to do laundry.
Yeah, and I always get her up in the morning, and I make coffee for both of us.
Oh, that's so wonderful. King's Coast, by the way,
stuff.
right here. Just let guys know. Yeah, King's Coast. Yes. We're addicted. I'm addicted.
It's good. I am no coffee connoisseur, but it is definitely tasty.
So we've talked about talking to each other, specifically about like my dream of trying to do this. We've set aside the time to be with each other and trying to make sure that we're both present in our time together. So that way, when we are together, that is our time together. The kiddo's in bed, and I stream during the week. The kiddo's in bed, and I spend the time with you on the weekend. That exact 4 or 5 hour window. So it's dedicated time to each other. Do you feel that there's another topic here that we need to discuss on? Or do you have feedback on like anything that you're thinking that you have learned that you want to share?
I'm not sure. I will say that, again, this sort of thing, the way you're doing it and the way a lot of people are doing it in this gig economy, it don't try to reinvent the wheel when it comes to this. This is work-life balance. This is something that people have been struggling with for hundreds of years. So you can, if you're treating it as a job, then treat it as a job. And I mean, millions of people have to do this exact same thing, and there's good articles out there. And frankly, marriage counselors would tell you the same thing that we're talking about right now. You know, communicate, make time for each other and your family and friends.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Just keep it, keep it under control of not stepping outside your current zone. So from those things we've just talked about, the one thing that we were also discussing was over time, make sure that you review and you readjust what you're doing, because that's what I started with, a really bad schedule.
Yeah, be flexible about what you're doing.
And just review what you're doing. Talk to your significant other. I think that's really the biggest thing, is like me and Suze have had to talk to each other over and over and over and over and over again to make sure that this is still working for both of us. It's not just working for me, but it has to work for both of us. And that's the biggest thing to remind yourself, is you're in a relationship. And if that is part of what you want to keep going and accomplish, which I do, I love my wife. I've been with her for 15 years since we first started dating. I don't plan on going anywhere else. She's kind of stuck with me at this point. I live in her basement right here in this space. And so, do you have any final thoughts, parting wisdom as a wife of a little starting out new baby streamer and content creator and workaholic?
Put the toilet seat down. Take your dishes to the sink. Don't clip your nails and leave them in a pile in a public space. You're a roommate. Be a polite roommate. The end.
The end. All right, guys. Just to let you know, CyborgSuzy, my wife, you can check out her blog at hoof-and-pod.blogspot.com. She does have a Twitter. She has an Instagram. You can search for her under CyborgSuzy, CYBORGSUZY. Of course, my name is Drake. You can see me on Mixer Sundays through Thursday at 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back playing more story games on Story Games Sunday, and we will be playing probably lots and lots of Destiny and other cool new games coming out in the new year. So hope to hear from you, hope to see from you, and have a great night.